It is 8 p.m. and here are tonight's top stories. Critically dry conditions fueling wildfires across Colorado.
Fire was raging, probably winds were 20 miles an hour.
Mandatory evacuations lifted in Boulder as another fire tears through homes in the southern part of the state.
We struggled at times to stay in front of this fire and to stay out of the way of it because the winds and stuff were so strong. Luckily we were able to get out.
These new mask freedoms might not last long.
It feels just almost surreal in a way to see like so many maskless people in one spot.
Justice Department now appealing a federal judge's ruling that struck the travel measure down on Monday.
Mariupol makes its last stand.
We might have only a few days or even hours left.
As fighting intensifies in Ukraine, one doctor returns to Colorado after taking much needed medical supplies to the front lines.
I tried to do as much as I could. You go and it's like a drop in the ocean of need.
We begin tonight with high fire danger across Colorado after an active day for wildfires in our state.
We are monitoring two fires right now, one in Boulder County just southwest of Longmont, the Table Mountain Fire. The other's in southern Colorado in the city of Monte Vista. Good evening and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jacqueline Allen.
I'm Danny Neal. We'll have the latest on the fire in Monte Vista in just a minute, but first, all evacuation orders have been lifted from the Table Mountain Fire, where crews in Boulder are continuing to monitor that situation.
That's the good news. This one burned 52 acres. It's in a remote area of the county west of Longmont, and Boulder County officials downgraded evacuation orders after learning there was no immediate threat to lives or property. Today's fire outside Boulder was thankfully small, but it was also a reminder of the new normal that so many of us find ourselves in right now. People and the animals they care for have to be ready at a moment's notice to drop everything and leave for safety. We spoke to Boulder County Animal Control. They're finding themselves deployed almost daily to help farmers get their horses and other large animals to shelter during fires.
Well, unfortunately, from what we've heard through the sheriff's office is this is going to be our new normal. Yeah, I hate for that to be the reality. And I live just east of here, but that's what we've come to accept, is that we all need to be better prepared to handle these types of situations.
Wow, and coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, we will share the new normal that first responders, volunteers, and residents are now living with.
And the wildfire we mentioned in Monte Vista, which is in Rio Grande County, is believed to have burned several homes across 17 acres. This is some video you're seeing from the local newspaper in Alamosa. Residents were evacuated to Ski High Complex, but some were cleared to return home. No injuries have been reported, and police said that crews are making good progress on the fire.
More dry conditions heading into the weekend means an increased risk of fire danger. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson's in now. Mike, looks like Friday will be a day of real concern.
Perhaps the worst day that we've seen so far this spring, which is saying a lot. So tomorrow we'll have high fire danger, but extreme fire danger on Friday because the combination of temperatures in the 80s, humidities that'll be in the single digits and teens, and strong winds. It does get better Saturday and Sunday, but as far as the weather conditions, we're going to see continued dry weather conditions. Look at this. We have only had 1/100th of an inch of precipitation so far for the month of April. Our last snow was about the first day of spring, around the 20th of March. So we're just not getting any relief on that. Right now, the current conditions are okay. The winds are out of the east-southeast about 13 miles per hour, but they're going to crank up as this front moves through as a warm front and begins to bring in the warmer, drier air. And then on Friday, ahead of the next storm system, very strong winds expected to develop. So it's an unfortunate situation, and sad to say the next storm system is not going to bring very much moisture, just a lot of wind.
Some relief. Thank you, Mike. In western Colorado, at least 4 people were hurt in a building explosion in downtown Montrose. Several blocks were evacuated, but firefighters were able to keep this fire contained to just this one building, as you see here. The Montrose Daily Press reports one of the people injured is in critical condition, and the cause of this explosion is under investigation.
We're learning more about the false alarm evacuation at the U.S. Capitol this evening. Officials say it was triggered by an Army Golden Knights parachute team plane headed to a ball game at Nationals Park. Capitol Police quickly deemed it as a non-threat, saying the evacuations were out of an abundance of caution.
The Department of Justice has now appealed the ruling by a Florida judge to end the transportation mask mandate. Now, the CDC recommended that the DOJ should appeal the decision, saying it wants to protect the department's public health authority. The CDC is still recommending people wear masks on planes, trains, and buses, and added its #1 priority is protecting the public health of our nation.
The city of Aurora has selected an interim police chief to take over Vanessa Wilson's position. Dan Oates, who led the police department from 2005 to 2014, will take over for now. Oates received praise for leading the department through the Aurora theater shooting in 2012. City Manager Jim Twombly says that he has an established trust with the community and can help shape the transformation of the department. And Oates will take over the department by May 23rd after he has a minor medical procedure and then recovers. The city says he will then begin having conversations with community leaders.
On this day 23 years ago, 13 lives were cut short in a deadly shooting at Columbine High School. Today, we remember their lives and the more than 20 others who were injured in that shooting. The Columbine community is committed to paying respect to those it lost by making this a day of service. You can visit columbineserves.com to learn about ways to honor and respect this day in your own community.
Ukraine leaders say Russia has agreed to a humanitarian corridor for Mariupol in attempts to allow women, children, and elderly people to escape the city. Ukrainian President Zelensky says his troops are still defending a Mariupol steel plant, saying that they will not surrender. And today, Russia released this video claiming to show an airstrike on Ukrainian facilities. The military also announced a test launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile, saying that those who threaten Russia should, quote, think twice. And Russia's invasion of Ukraine is now in its 56th day. And meanwhile, in the States, Americans are trying to do their part to help.
Denver 7's CB Cotton introduces us to a Boulder doctor who saw the need for medical supplies and acted quickly to help.
He helped us take the supplies into Lviv.
Maritza Polk has dedicated her life to patients in the States.
I'm internal medicine, and then I work at the hospital as a hospitalist, so I'm used to taking care of very sick people.
But early this month, she felt called to help abroad.
This is our tent. Our medical tent.
On April 2nd, Dr. Polk traveled to Poland to meet with other medical professionals from the States. There, they delivered medical supplies and body armor to those fighting in Ukraine.
We got off the plane, all 12 duffel bags were there, walked out of the airport in Warsaw, and there we were.
From Warsaw, Polk traveled to the busiest border crossing between Ukraine and Poland as thousands of refugees poured in.
It's women and children, and I think the really hard part is they don't speak the language. They don't speak Polish. If they're going to speak anything, they speak Russian. A lot of them have been traveling for days.
Intense travel and intense needs. Polk remembers one woman she helped who had survived a bomb attack.
So we, took care of her foot, and I said to her, and there was a translator again, and I was like, I got you. It's going to be okay. And then she just started to cry, and she cried in my arms.
Now that she's back home, she's encouraging others to do what they can to help.
Polk is now raising funds so she can purchase more medical supplies and hopes to make another trip to the area to help. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, we'll talk about her inspiration behind all of this. For Denver 7 News on Local 3, I'm CB Cotton.
Coming up on Denver 7 News at 8. As the Mile High City lights up for World Cannabis Day, researchers are warning about its impact on Mother Nature.
It's really important that we keep that plant sacred and the environment that it's in sacred.
We hash it out with one business working to make the industry more sustainable.
A lot of fire weather watches and warnings in effect. Friday looks like an extreme fire day.
Plus, a hitchhiker's guide to the metaverse. Nursing homes using virtual reality to help residents with dementia.
It gives them a chance to go someplace that they may not be physically able to go to.